Hi guys, I'm gonna try something new today. So, along with talking about books, another thing that I love to talk about is skincare. I'm a huge skincare lover. I love buying skincare products, which is not good for my bank account. But I also love talking about skincare. I love recommending skincare products to all of my friends and family. I'm just really interested in skincare, and I've had a long history with skincare. I've had a very long and tough battle with my own skin. Maybe in another video I'll talk about it, but I've had to go through like Accutane, and my skin was in the trenches. It was really, really bad. And so this video is gonna be a little bit like a get unready with me while I show you guys my skincare routine. But at the same time, because I figured I'm gonna be talking a lot about Korean skincare products, I thought I might as well talk about some of my favorite Korean translated literature as well. I love reading translated literature around the world. I feel like you really get to know more about a certain place or country through their literature. And so Korean literature is one of my favorite because I just love the way that certain Korean authors write, which I will talk about in a second. But that's the concept of this video, I guess. So I'm gonna get started now. This is the headband that I wear. Okay, so typically I cleanse my face when I'm in the shower, but I already took a shower because I wanted to do everything on camera. So I washed my body, but I didn't wash my face. Before I start, I gotta mention, my skin type is very, very dry. I have extremely dry skin, and it gets worse in the winter time, and it's like spring now, but it's still pretty cold. So my skin is still really, really dry and like dehydrated on the inside. And along with that, I have really sensitive skin. In this video, you're gonna see like whenever I touch my face or something, it's gonna get really, really red, but don't worry. A lot of the products that I use are for sensitive skin and supposed to be calming. And it's like my skin is so sensitive that the wind will make me red, or like even rubbing my face will make me red. And so my entire skincare routine is just barrier care and trying to heal my skin barrier. So dry, sensitive, and I wouldn't say I'm acne prone, but I do get like bumps and clogged pores. The bumps, I feel like the bumps come from my skin barrier being damaged. Whenever my skin barrier is damaged, these bumps come up that like, they aren't acne, but they look a lot like acne, but you don't treat them like acne. So I just call them irritation bumps, but I don't really know what they are. The very first product that I use is this Manyo Deep Clear Cleansing Balm. I've been using this for a while, and it's pretty good. I haven't tried much cleansing balms before. When I first started out with double cleansing, I only used oil cleanser at first. So I used the Manyo oil cleanser, I used the Skin 1004 oil cleanser, and I also used another one, which I don't remember. I started using cleansing balms instead because I heard that cleansing balms are a little better for drier skin because it helps retain that moisture a little bit better. And so far I do like cleansing balms a lot more than cleansing oils, especially because they're so travel friendly. Like it's not gonna leak all over your bag or whatnot. While I do this, let me talk about the first book. My favorite ever Korean translated novel is a book called Love in the Big City by Park Sang-young. Love in the Big City is a book about a guy named Young who is a gay man living in South Korea. And it's kind of just his daily life and what it's like to live in Korea as a gay man. But it also follows his friendship with a girl named Jae-hee and how they live their life together. And it shows him in a bunch of different relationships. He matches with a bunch of different guys on Tinder, and he yearns for that romantic love, but it's not what he expects all the time. And it just explores love in all different facets. Like it talks about friendship, it talks about family and like your love with your mother, and it also just talks about finding romance in a big city. And the reason why I love this book so much, sorry, see my skin's already starting to get red, but I love putting on the cleansing balm because I look super glowy. I wish I could look like this 24/7. But I love this book because the depictions of love are so incredibly realistic. And it doesn't focus on just the good parts, like the parts where the happily ever after happens, but it also focuses on the bad parts, the cynical parts, and how you sometimes lose the love of your life and you spend the rest of your life yearning for that same love again and searching for it, but you can never truly find it again. It's so devastating. And the writing is just beautiful. The cleansing balm right now is just taking off all of the sunscreen and foundation. I don't really wear makeup. I don't wear heavy makeup. I typically just wear foundation because as you can already see, my skin gets red, so I just use the foundation to cover up the redness. For Love in the Big City, I read it twice. The first time I read it was in 2023, which I absolutely loved. And then I reread it again in 2024. And even though I reread it, it still became one of my best books of 2024, which just shows you how brilliant the book is. It's magnificent. If you look at my copy, I don't really want to touch my copy right now because I'll get it dirty. But if you look at my copy of the book, you'll just see a ton of underlines because I've underlined so many great quotes. I yearn for the experience of reading that for the first time again. Now I'm gonna emulsify it. So I'm gonna wet my hands a little bit and then you'll see the stuff really start to come off my face. I'm gonna take off my mic for this because it's about to get really dirty. This is why I do this in the shower, because if I do it at the sink, it gets everywhere. So give me a second. I will say really quick, I just washed off the cleansing balm. One thing I don't like about the cleansing balm though is that after you wash it off, it feels like there's still a film on your skin. Like there's still a layer of oil there and it's not like smooth. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it's not smooth and my fingers don't glide smoothly on my skin. So, I mean, obviously I have to go in with a water-based cleanser anyway, but I just wish that film feeling wasn't there. For my water cleanser, I've been using the Round Lab 1025 Dokdo cleanser. This is a great cleanser for people with dry and sensitive skin like me. After I use this, my skin doesn't really feel that tight, which is like the only requirement for me in finding a good cleanser. As long as it doesn't leave my skin tight, then it's fine. And I have severely dry skin and this does the job fine. Oh, I forgot to also tell you guys, I have a crap ton of skincare. Like, I love skincare. I have a drawer down here that's just filled with skincare, and also this cabinet over here. This cabinet is also just skincare. It used to be just the drawer, but it started overflowing, so I had to move some of it to the cabinet. But I have a crap ton of skincare. Some of it is also empty. I like to keep the empty bottles because sometimes if I'm going to talk about skincare line, I want to show you guys the bottle. Okay guys, this is what I mean when I say I have an entire drawer just for skincare. These are my cushions, the Chungseommuul cushions, but I also have like sunscreen, toner, some other random stuff in there. But I also use this cabinet in here. All of that is skincare too. Some of these are empties, and this is perfume, but there's skincare in there too. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to cleansing. I'm gonna cleanse with this, and then I'll put the microphone back on. What a battle. My skin is finally clean. It might seem a little red right now, but don't worry. It's just because I've been rubbing my face a lot and I've been having a lot of friction on my skin, so not that big of a deal. It'll go away, I promise. I'm gonna go in with toner pads first. These are my favorite toner pads ever. This is the Aestura A-CICA 365 Soft Calming Mask Pad. These toner pads are not made of that typical cotton pad. It's made with a different material. I think it's the same material that you find on face masks, and they do that because it creates less friction, and so when you're rubbing it across your skin, it's not as harsh. I'm gonna put these like this. These toner pads are also just really good for getting rid of any redness, and let me tell you, I bought these when I was in Japan, and I don't know why, but when I was in Japan, my skin was so freaking irritated. My skin was so insanely red. I had bumps all over my face, the irritation bumps that I was talking about earlier, and I just bought this from a beauty store in Japan, and I was like, you know what, I'll try these just for tonight to see if they're actually good or not, and then so I'll buy more if I like them. And so I used these toner pads, and the next morning I wake up, redness gone, the irritation bumps gone. And so ever since that trip, I've been using these every single day because they're just magical. They're honestly the greatest toner pads I've ever tried. And so I highly, highly recommend this as well. While I have this on my skin, let me talk about the book some more. Love in the Big City. Recently, this year, Love in the Big City was also adapted into both a TV show and a movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, but the TV show has Nam Yoon-soo in it, who's playing Young. And the TV show is just excellent. I cried because the TV show was just so incredibly good. It was perfect. Like, it was exactly how I wanted the TV show to turn out. It was so true to the actual book itself, and my heart was just so warm while watching it. It was honestly just the perfect adaptation I could have ever asked for this book. It does the book justice, which I loved so much. And the movie has Kim Go-eun in it. She plays like Young's friend, and I really want to watch that one. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I will watch it. If you have watched it, let me know what you think of it. But Love in the Big City, highly recommend. It's incredible. It's so human and it's so heartfelt. One of the greatest books I've ever read, and I probably will reread it again in the future. I obviously can't make a video about Korean novels without talking about Han Gang, who just won the Nobel Prize. And the book that I want to talk about, I could talk about any of her books to be honest, but I'll talk about Human Acts just because I love all of them, but that one, I think it's more accessible, and everyone who hasn't read Han Gang yet should read Human Acts first. I feel Human Acts is a novel about the Gwangju uprising that took place in the 1970s in Korea, and it centers around a young boy who was killed in the accident. And the rest of the novel just follows that boy's untimely death and how certain people are affected by it, and how all of Korean society is affected by the Gwangju uprising. And it's such a beautiful look at violence and humanity and the fragility of humans. Okay, I'm gonna take these off now. But each chapter is a different perspective during the Gwangju uprising. Like, there's the boy's perspective, there's the boy's friend, there's also an editor where censorship was like a huge thing. So the editor has to go to the office to have her work accepted for publication. And so there's a lot of different perspectives in the novel, and it all just centers around this one incident, which is the Gwangju uprising. The way Han Gang writes is so poetic and so lyrical, and it's just genius. And she's describing these horrible events with such precision and intensity, but at the same time being heartfelt, being sensitive, being sincere. It's honestly just incredible. It's such a powerful work, and I feel like everyone has to read it. And Human Acts was especially relevant because I think it was a few months ago in Korea, the president announced that martial law. And so Han Gang went on stage to talk about martial law and how her books were related to that incident, which just shows like history just repeats itself. And that's why Han Gang's novels are so incredibly important today. I really loved it. I underlined a lot of good quotes in this one as well. Okay, I have a few bumps on my skin. I don't know if you can tell, but my skin was in good condition today, so I thought I might film. Next up, I'm gonna go in with a regular toner. I've been using this one by Tirtir. This is the Tirtir Milk Skin Toner. It's not bad, but it's not the best either. This is incredibly thick. And while I do like milky toners, I do like how moisturizing it is, this one feels greasy and it leaves like this nasty film on my skin. I don't know if this is just me though. I will say it's really hydrating, which I like. But I've noticed that it makes my skin feel heavy. And after I put on the rest of my skincare routine, it makes my skin feel really tacky. And I know it's because of this toner, because I've used the same skincare routine with a different toner, and the other toner didn't make my skin feel like that. But when I switched to this one, it made my skin feel really sticky and tacky, which I will say, because I am a dry skin person, I do like the feeling of a little bit of stickiness, because I feel like stickiness means the hydration is gonna stay in my skin a bit longer. But this one's just insane. Like, the stickiness is crazy. The next book I wanna talk about though is a nonfiction book, and it's called I Want to Die But I Still Want to Eat Tteokbokki by Baek Se-hee. This book is actually a sequel to her first book, I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki, and I'm talking about the sequel instead because I much prefer the sequel over the first book. I Want to Die But I Still Want to Eat Tteokbokki is just a book of compiled conversations with the author and her psychiatrist. The author is dealing with a lot of issues, like she has depression and problems with her identity, and it's really, really heartfelt. And I find it really, really hard to review books like this because they're so incredibly personal, and I feel like a star rating just doesn't do the book justice, because I feel like the star rating somewhat lowers the experiences of the author, and I don't want that to happen because the book is incredibly personal and so heartfelt, and I applaud the author for being so brave and revealing all this information. But I will say I did like the sequel much more than the first book, because I felt like the sequel just felt more emotional and more personal, and also it wasn't as repetitive. Like the themes of appearance, loneliness, self-identity, depression are so, I feel like they're much more fleshed out in the second book, and I really, really loved it. By the way, this is the I'm from Mugwort Essence. This stuff is amazing. I freaking love this stuff. I highly recommend everyone to use this. If you're dry, oily, normal, whatever, acne prone, I don't care. Everyone has to use this. It's, if you know, it's almost like the Skin 104 Centella Ampoule, which I also use. But I feel like this one's better. This one is made with 100% mugwort. Mugwort has really good healing properties, so it's really good for damaged skin barrier, open wounds, that kind of stuff. And so it's really good for acne prone people, but also people with acne scarring, sensitive, red, irritated skin. It's good for everything. It's really, really good for everything. I highly, highly recommend. I am an English major, but I am also a psychology major, and this book, it's really, really fascinating just reading about psychology from another country, like how it differs and how it's similar. I recommend both books. I do like both books, but the second one, it kind of hit for me. I just like the second one more. I'm almost done. The next book I want to talk about is Almond by Son Won-kyung. Okay, I have to read the synopsis for this because there's like a specific health condition. Okay, Yoon-jae was born with a brain condition called alexithymia, where it makes him hard to feel emotions like fear or anger. And so on Christmas Eve, there's a shocking random act of violence that occurs to Yoon-jae's family. And after that moment, he decides to build a friendship with his school bully. And the story just kind of takes off from there and talks about the relationship between the two. And I remember crying. Yeah, I remember crying. It's been a while since I read it. I think almost 3 years. It's been a while. Anyways, before I keep going, this is I talked about this literally a few seconds ago. The Centella Ampoule from Skin 104. Great, great stuff. This is my 4th bottle, I want to say. It's honestly amazing. This was the one thing that healed my skin barrier at a time when it was so incredibly destroyed. So I recommend this product as well. I don't remember most of Almond because it's been such a long time since I read it, but I just remember it being so incredibly emotional, which is insane because the narrator doesn't necessarily feel emotions. So that just shows you how great of an author she is. I think I finished this book in 2 days or something like that. I ran through the book. It was incredible. It's such a heartfelt story and it's so emotional. I think this is one of the very first Korean translated novels I read, and from that point on, I decided, yeah, I want more. Which leads me to the next book. The very last book that I'll be talking about is Kim Ji-young, born 1982, by Cho Nam-ju, which is the very, very first Korean translated novel that I've read. It's highly, highly popular in Korea because of its feminist outlook. And also a lot of K-pop idols read it. I think, if I remember correctly, Irene from Red Velvet read it. RM from BTS read it, maybe? I don't know if that's right. I'm gonna go in with this eye cream. This is my second bottle. This is the Beauty of Joseon Revive Eye Serum with ginseng and retinol. Not retinol, retinol. Retinol is like a more gentle version of retinol. This is my second bottle, but I don't think it's done much, to be honest. But I still use it because my mother gave this to me for free. So, don't like to waste money. Kim Ji-young, born 1982, is about a girl named Kim Ji-young, and she is what the synopsis calls her, a 30-something-year-old millennial every woman. and she has recently left her white-collar desk job in order to care for her newborn daughter full-time. But Jiyoung is able to impersonate the voices of other women, alive and even dead. So her husband takes her to the psychologist and try to figure out what's wrong. And essentially, Jiyoung is able to speak the voices of every Korean woman. It's a really short novel, but it's so impactful. It's been a really long time since I've read this book as well. Oh, by the way, this is the eye cream. I'm putting it on my neck because if this is for wrinkle care, might as well go on my neck. Anyways, it's such an impactful book because if you don't know, Korea is one of the countries with the highest gender pay gap, and men and women are treated very, very differently in Korea. Like the gender gap is one of the highest. So that's why this book is so important and so relevant. There's also a ton of research that was put into this book as well. There's a lot of different footnotes, and I think there's a bibliography at the end where it tells you all the different works that are cited. So it's a blending of fiction and nonfiction, which is so interesting. I really loved that part, how there was so much research put into it. Last step, the Illiyoon Ceramide Auto Concentrate Cream. This is my second bottle. Let me tell you really quick. I bought this because over the summer, I tried another moisturizer, the really popular one, the Aestura Auto Barrier 365 Barrier Cream or whatever. I tried that, and I think they changed the formula because I've used it before, but this time I bought it again, and they changed the formula. So when I put it on my skin, I had a huge allergic reaction. It was so bad. My entire skin was inflamed, so incredibly dry. I had the rash all over my face, and any other moisturizer that I was using would not help my skin retain its moisture. So I had to get this. I had to get it because it's so thick and a really, really good moisturizer for sensitive skin. And so I bought it and I used it. The next morning, baby smooth skin. All of the rash was gone. My skin was essentially healed, and I've been using this ever since. I think because it was summer, it might have been a little bit too thick for like regular use. So when it's the summertime again, I don't think I'll be using this again. But if you have a severely damaged skin barrier, I really, really do recommend this one. And you don't need a lot either. And the brand also says, because it's really good for sensitive skin, you can even use this on infants. So isn't that good to know? Kim Ji-young is a really short and impactful novel. And I just remember being so angry while reading it. I was like fuming at the pages because men are annoying, aren't they? Men are super annoying. And the entire book just shows you how women are so oppressed in their society. It's just such an insightful book on how women are treated in Korea, because I feel like books like Kim Ji-young, born 1982, are really incredibly important because there are lots of media today, like, you know, Korean skincare, K-dramas, K-pop, that frame Korea as this really booming industry and lots of great things. The people are excellent, but books like this really show you the negative undersides of it. Along with Hangang's novels like Human Acts, these books really show you that the society isn't perfect. No society is perfect, by the way, but it just really shows you how there's still a lot of oppression in Korean society and how it's not really what the K-dramas show. Because it is really, really cold at night, I love to end with a little bit of slugging. This is a controversial step, I guess, but I personally love to slug during the winter. I put on Vaseline on my face. Not the whole face, mainly just the cheeks, because my cheeks are what gets dry the most. And also, I don't like putting on my forehead because my bangs get gross too. Yeah, and Vaseline just really helps you lock in that moisture. Vaseline is also non-comedogenic, so if you want to try slugging, it's not going to break you out. I don't think you should slug if you're oily skin though. Don't try it. Only for dry skin people. I'm done talking about books. Those are the 5 books that I wanted to talk about. If you want to get into Korean literature and learn more about Korean society and the Korean country, I highly recommend all 5 of them. I think they're all brilliant. I recommend all of Hangang's works, to be honest. It's all brilliant and it's just amazing. And it's so relevant even outside of Korea. All of these books are so poignant and just beautiful. And I do want to reread some of them again. Like, I want to read Almond, to be honest. And I definitely am going to read Love in the Big City. I keep getting redder because I'm getting kind of hot, to be honest, guys. I had to open the door for a little bit. Okay, guys, I was looking through the footage that I filmed last night with my skincare routine, and my face looked really, really red for some of the clips. And so I just want to show you guys that my skincare does not make my skin look that red. Like, this is the next morning now. I think my skin looks fine, but it's usually, okay, it's only red because when I'm doing my skincare routine, I'm like touching my face a lot and I'm rubbing, and so it causes a lot of friction on the skin. But like next morning I wake up, I'm fine. My skin is sensitive, but the skincare products that I'm using is helping it. So I just want to show that first. Okay, bye. That was my skincare routine, and those are the 5 looks that I recommend. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to know more about my skincare routine, or like my morning skincare routine, or just my history with skincare and my battle with my skin, please let me know and maybe I'll make another video in the future. But I'll see you next time. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.